Here we're going to talk about how to rappel on a single strand of rope. And this is a question that comes up a lot because people will ask, well, what if I drop my belay device, my device that has 2 slots for doing a double rope rappel, which we do know that there are improvised rappelling techniques, but not everyone feels comfortable with that. Or they just ask, like, what if I just forgot it and all I have with me is an assistive braking device like a gree-gree? So the Reepschnur is a great tool for that. And so what you do is you thread your rope like you normally would, pull it through where we'll say that's the middle of my rope where I want it. And then what I'm going to do on one side then is tie a big knot. Now depending on the ring or the material, I might go with a bigger knot than other times. If I have pretty skinny chain links here, for example, I might just do an overhand knot or overhand on a bite or figure 8 on a bite. If I have bigger rings, I might do like a bigger knot, like a doubled figure 8 is one that I personally do a lot. Something really big, the idea is that the knot's not going to go through that material. And then this is really key. We take that bite and we clip it into the other strand. This totally prevents it from pulling through the rings and failing. So now I can put myself on rappel with my gree-gree. Oops, if I rig it up right. And I really want to test this before I leave the anchor. I want to make sure I rigged it up correctly. I didn't accidentally rig up on what is now going to be my pull strand. This is the strand that I'm going to rappel on. I rappel down, get down to the bottom. And one thing I have to keep in mind here when I do this is how I'm going to pull this strand. So often when I set this up, I'll think about like, oh, I want to be able to pull the knot on the right side if I do have like some kind of ledge or obstacle that might be an issue. But I'm going to pull that strand, the knot comes down, and the rope can be freed. So that's a single strand rappel using the Reepschnur. It is pretty key to think about the size of that knot. One of the drawbacks to using this is if you do have a lot of ledges and terrain features where this knot could get stuck when you go to pull it down, that could be problematic. So it definitely works with nice clean vertical rappels. You do want to just be really mindful of like if you've got a lot of those terrain features. And then I do want to point out that canyoneers, since I know we often have people that are canyoneers in this class, and we teach a great technical canyoneering course in the fall at CMC, so canyoneering's fun. Canyoneers, they'll often do what they call knot blocks, and they'll put some kind of knot in there and they'll just rappel off the knot without clipping into it. And you know, maybe that's fine for them. We discourage that in rock climbing because we do really want to close that system. I think canyoneers, why they do that is one of the things is they're really worried about tough pulls as they're going over lips and stuff, so they don't want that strand captured by the carabiner. And also just to mention, because this question comes up, canyoneers also use what are called carabiner blocks. And so what they'll often do is they'll just clove hitch this and they'll clip a carabiner in there and they'll get it loaded along the spine like so, and then they'll rappel off of that. And you can see it'll do a pretty effective job at blocking it. And while that might be appropriate for canyoneers, we discourage that in rock climbing. We just want to add some more security. Maybe in canyoneers' defense, they're often like doing shorter rappels maybe, or maybe they're rappelling into water. And they are really worried about the tough pulls that they might have, and they could literally be trapped in a canyon if the rope gets stuck. So that's a little bit about how they might do things that are different than climbing, and why in climbing we do things different, and why canyoneers might do things different, so not to pick on them. So there's some single strand rappel techniques for you there.